What is up, you guys? We are live. It is the Brother Sisters. Sorry, Dad, I have to go live. Otherwise, they're going to cut off our stream. And right now, we are in the midst of talking Michael Brothers and Cynthia Brothers into getting into the streamcast. So that takes a minute. You guys are doing great.
We should have gone live like 4 minutes ago so y'all could hear this.
How's it? Did you get the name typed in?
He's trying to type it in.
Okay. You know, Dad, if you want, you can just type anything you want. You can say, I fucking hate this if you want. That's fine, too.
Does he hit the red box again?
Hit the red box again.
Okay. I did.
Okay. What is
okay, now what?
I don't know. What does it say?
It says my brothers. Then there's a little teardrop.
Okay.
No, it's not doing anything after you hit the name.
So, Ann, once he hits the name, what does he do?
If I remember correctly, once you hit your name, and then he might have to go back down to enter broadcast.
So you might have to scroll down again, all the way down to the bottom, and enter broadcast again.
All right. Enter broadcast. There, we hit that.
Dude, we're there. I'm adding you to the stream.
Okay.
It has happened. It has happened.
Yeah, I see half of me. There's the other half of me.
All right, good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey,
Well done,
looks
Dan.
like you two.
Hey.
What do you know?
What do you know?
Well, can you see all of me, or you just see half of me? There's half of me right there. What half would you like? My better half? Or
now remember,
oh,
Dad,
there we go.
the
Now I
camera.
see half of Jenny. I see all of Ann. Okay. There we are. What are you laughing about?
I'm laughing because it's funny, man.
Okay.
All right.
You want the top of my head or the bottom of my head? What are we going here? Okay.
There you go. Good. Oh, you just.
Hey, I just broke it. I'm off the screen.
You just turned your camera off.
Oh, I turned my camera off. My thumb went over the camera. Sorry about that.
There you go. Aunt Julie is letting us know that she sees all three of us. That is excellent news. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you, Aunt Julie, for your help.
Sorry, I can't get on the big screen there, you know.
That's
I'm
big
not, I'm
enough.
not made for the big screen. How about surround sound? I'll have your
Dad, tell
mother
us about
echo everything I'm saying, and then we'll have surround sound. How's that?
Perfect.
Okay.
So, Dad, tell us about your Father's Day so far. Because, by the way, everybody, happy Father's Day to all of you out there, fathers and those that have fathers. Dad, we wanted to bring you on to wish you a happy Father's Day and ask you a bunch of questions today. So, tell me about your Father's Day so far. Tell me what's happened to you so far.
Do on my Father's Day, what I've done?
Yeah.
I sat on my chair and drank coffee, and your mother made me breakfast, and your mother's making me dinner. That's Father's Day. How's that?
Nice. And what did Mom make you for breakfast?
I made a frittata.
What was in it?
Yep, nice frittata. Blueberry muffins. Let's see, what else? Coffee, juice, you know, the good stuff.
Nice.
Sounds good.
Yep.
Excellent.
What else?
What'd
What
you
do you
guys
guys have
have?
for dinner?
What are we having for dinner? Well, we just marinated your little recipe, the steak, you know, and sweet corn, and she made me a jam cake, you know, that thing that we see on the British Bake Off.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
Well, we scrounged around and found a 6-inch cake pan, you know. We had a little hard time finding that. Walmart didn't have that, so we had to go to
It's the jam cake out of Downton Abbey.
yeah, the jam cake out of
Ooh.
Downton Abbey, you know. The only thing we don't have is the super high tea, you know, and we don't have the downstairs people to bring it upstairs, you know. So
You guys are the downstairs people. What are you talking about?
we don't have the butler. We do have Mr. T though, but you know, he's not much of a butler, you know.
He's not. Our cats are useless. They really don't do
Yeah.
anything of any use other than to entertain. So, you know.
Right. He sits on his catch perch and watches us, you know. He'd like a piece of that. Yeah.
I was going to say, you can never find a 6-inch cake pan because nobody wants a 6-inch cake. They all want the bigger cake or, you know, the better, that sort of thing. So
Not in
Well,
America.
in America,
Myers has 6-inch cake pans.
that's because
Two
Myers is
kinds.
sophisticated. They're a sophisticated
Yeah.
place to shop. So
Well, they probably watch Downton Abbey. You never know.
there you go.
Is Myers an English name? I don't know. Maybe it is. Sounds more German though. I don't know.
Yeah, Meijer. Yeah, that sounds less English and more German. So, or Dutch or something. So, so anyway, Dad, we wanted to bring you on today to do the Father's Day 5, which is 5 questions. Now, did you get those earlier? I did send those to you earlier. Hopefully, you had a chance to look at those.
I did. Not, I got a chance to look at them.
Good. You got your answers all ready to go then?
Well, I've got answers. I don't know if they're ready, but they're answers.
All right, then let's go ahead and start with your first question. This one comes from your daughter, Anne. She wants to know, Dad, pie or cake?
Pie or cake, right?
Yeah.
Well, actually, I prefer pie. That's more of a brother's tradition. We have to reach back to Mina Baker, Mom's mom, my grandmother, and it was always pie. What do you want for your birthday? Well, of course, pie. And then of course, Mom always made pies. And when I joined 4-H, I started out at the age of 10. Of course, I signed up for cooking, and learned how to make a pie. And I wound up at Michigan State with my cherry pie, got a blue ribbon. And so, and then in 1954, Avis, your grandmother, stumbled across a Pillsbury bake-off, second runner-up. And of course, that was the infamous, you know what pie I'm talking about, don't you?
Yeah.
Banana split pie.
The banana split pie. And of course, that's the big tradition. Everybody wants a banana split pie. And of course, when Anne comes to visit, she always says, well, I don't see any banana split pie. Must be Jenny's not going to be here. So, but she was here last week, and we had banana split pie for your Aunt Julie's birthday. And guess what? Jenny wasn't here. We had banana split pie.
I was coming.
That's right. So
we didn't even know Anne was coming, but we still had banana split pie. So
what you're saying
that's why they made it, because they didn't know I was coming.
It's your indirect way of saying that I am the favored daughter because I get the banana split pie. You don't have to say anything, Dad.
No, that all comes from your big sister.
The banana split pie tells all. It really does. It's the truth.
Yeah. So that's a roundabout answer as to why I prefer pie over cake. It's just a family tradition, It's just something that is.
And Aunt Julie is rubbing it in that she got one last week, and so she just wanted you to know that.
I know. I just happened to be there. Otherwise, it would just been yet another time when I did not get banana split pie.
I know it's rough, Anne. It's going to be okay.
It is.
All right, Dad, are you ready for question 2?
Question 2.
All right, this one comes from me. Here it is. If you could have any car in the history of cars, what would it be?
Well, now I'm gonna have to split that question into 2. You mind if I give you 2? Okay.
I'm fine with 2 answers, absolutely.
Well, of course, my 28 Model A was my first car, and of course, it came in kind of a pretty junky shape. I was in high school, and we dragged that home with Dad's pickup truck, and I worked on that for a few years. It did run, but I was always in love with that car. So my 28 Model A. And then when I was in college, I wound up with a 1950 DeSoto. It was a carry-all. The back seat folded down into the trunk, which was a real novelty then. And it only had 30,000 miles on it, and an older gentleman, they wouldn't allow him to drive anymore. And so I bought the car for like $125, but it was a neat car. I even drove it to Michigan. Had a spring break, and I drove it to Michigan and then back to Colorado. So it was just one of those old luxury cars that I still dream about that. Every now and then I'll have a dream when I'm driving that big gray DeSoto down the road. So I suppose I would take that car even over the Model A. So yeah.
All right. 2.
I love that car.
I can picture the DeSoto because it has those big fat white wall tires on it. So
it did. It had the white wall tires. The radio in the dash was probably something you could take out and put in your living room. It was, but it played well. I remember I had a job where I worked nights at a gas station, and then I got off around midnight or so. And in the summertime, I could tune in WLS Chicago. I could listen to WLS. It was kind of a rock and roll station, so it was kind of a little piece of home because I could get that on that old DeSoto radio. So I'd take a little drive out on the plains and listen to WLS sometimes. So
Nice.
it was
Okay,
kind of fun.
Alexa, stop. Sure, I had to tell Alexa to be quiet. All right, so the 1950 DeSoto and the 1928 Ford. Dad,
Right.
have you seen that movie yet, Ford v Ferrari? Have you watched that movie?
I have not watched that yet.
I think you would enjoy that. It's a pretty good story. I watched it a little bit yesterday, a little bit today, and I thought it was actually a really good movie, and I thought it told a really great story about Ford back in the 50s and 60s. So I think you would dig that, if nothing else, just for looking at all the cars in it. So that's what I think. All right, Dad, next question. Here we go. Of all the tools you have, which is your favorite and why?
Oh, it has to be my Shopsmith, and I don't think they even make those things anymore. But it's a multi-purpose tool. It's it does everything. It's a lathe, it's a drill press, it's a jointer, it's a table saw. You can stand it up, and it's a sanding machine. You can hook it up to just about anything, and it does everything. I still use it. I have it out in the shop. I make picnic tables with it. I remodel the house with it. It's just a real handy machine. The only maybe drawback is if you're doing one thing and you want to do something else, then you have to stop and readjust everything. I used to have a bandsaw for it. I have a separate bandsaw now, but you can hook up a bandsaw to it, and so it's just a real nice tool, and I keep it in good shape. Like I said, they used to make them in Ohio, and you used to be able to go to different. Like if you go to the county fair, there would be someone there demonstrating how to use one, and I haven't seen them around for a number of years, so I don't think they even make them anymore. But
you've had that forever. I can remember being a little girl and you bringing that thing home, and oh man, it was like. It was I just remember it was a great event in the brothers' household. It was the day the Shopsmith was finally delivered, and you basically I don't think we saw you for like a month after that.
Nope, I was I had it down in the basement, and then later on I dragged it upstairs into the garage, and then I used it to rebuild that sailboat I had, and so it's been on many projects, and of course my 20-year home remodeling project over around South 4th Street, that your mother got to see about 6 months of that house after I got done with it, and then she was off to Colorado. So I mean,
please notice how you said the 20-year remodel of that house.
Well, that's kind of a brother's thing. I was raised in a remodeled house, And you girls always need to empty the bucket before you turn the water on, make sure that drain is drained into that bucket.
Yeah. What Dad's talking about is that when he decided to buy this house without telling anybody, the upstairs bathroom, the sink wasn't hooked up to anything. So when you wanted to brush your teeth or something, you had to make sure, wash your hands, you had to make sure there was a bucket underneath the pipe that just went to nowhere. And then like every other day you had to empty the bucket, which was gross. So
Dad, it's raining in the basement.
That house was amazing. I was 7 when Dad bought that house, and I can remember walking in there and it smelling of cat pee, and me at 7 looking at this house going, damn, this place is a dump.
Hey, because when I walked into it, I was like, oh my gosh, we are poor.
Hey, we got a deal on that place. It was live in the street or live in that house. I had a roof on it. What more did you want?
Nothing. It had a roof. Like I said, that's my childhood.
Nobody was asking us.
Dad, cousin Katie has something today. She says, "Good to see you, Mike. I still remember spending the night with Julie and him putting fake puke on the floor by the bed. He's a crazy man." So, cousin Katie, bringing back the old days. Aunt Julie wants you to know that it's just that house was a work in progress or whatever.
A work in progress.
Just so you know, Dad, when it was done, it was really nice. So there you go.
It was a nice home when we got done. It was the slum of 4th Street when we started, but when we got done, she was a grand old lady. So, I mean, you
There
know,
you go. There you
it took a while, but, you know, you guys had decided to go to college. So, you know, funds were diverted.
Sorry. All right.
But it
Next
got
question.
done
for you.
anyway. It got done anyway.
You did. All right. Your next question. How did you propose to mom? This one comes from me.
Oh, how did I propose to mom? Well, that's a long story. You know, we're living in Denver at the time. Your mother was going to University of Colorado. I was at the Colorado Institute of Art and working nights in a gas station, pumping gas. That's back when you pumped gas. You didn't have a whole lot of money. Art students never had any money, you know. And I got this big idea. You could buy a Christmas tree in Colorado, but they were all like $1 a foot, you know. And in Michigan, you could buy a 10-foot Christmas tree for $5. So I called my dad, called Victor, and I said, hey, you know, we could sell Christmas trees out here. We had a friend that was in the Christmas tree business. So he shipped me 200 Christmas trees, and I sold quite a few of them wholesale, and then I kept, I think, 50 or so. And there was a chiropractor across the street from this Conoco gas station where I worked. And I talked to the old gentleman there that was a doctor. He had a vacant lot next to his doctor's office, and he let me have a Christmas tree lot there. And I sold Christmas trees, got enough money scraped together, bought an engagement ring. And I think it was a week before Christmas. Cynthia's oldest brother was having a Christmas party, and I thought this is a good night to get engaged. So that was the night I proposed to your mother, and she put
Was that Uncle Phil or Uncle Norman?
Uncle Phil. Oh, Uncle Norman. I don't think I ever went to an Uncle Norman party. This had to be Phil. Phil was the party guy, so we went to Phil. And she ran back in the house to show her mother the ring. And of course, I got a deal on the ring because Cynthia's sister-in-law, that would be Norman's wife. Her dad was in the jewelry business. He wholesaled rings to the different jewelry stores around southern Colorado and New Mexico. And so he gave me a good deal. And so that's how we got engaged. You know?
That's good.
Of course, we went together for 3 or 4 years before we got engaged, but that was beside the point, you know.
Yeah. I never knew how you proposed to mom. So that's all new information.
Well, she said she had a headache that night. I said, well, I got something that'll help cure that. So
Nice. That's smooth.
I don't think she had a headache after. Did you have a headache after that, dear?
I did, but I didn't care.
She did, but she didn't care.
But suck it up, mom. Good job.
So we did. We drove over to Phil's in my 50 DeSoto, and that was how we got engaged. Yeah.
Nice. All right. Well, you just mentioned that you were an art student. So let's talk about who is your favorite artist and why.
Well, Toulouse-Lautrec, of course. He's an illustrator, and I've spent my life in illustration, in the technical art. And Toulouse was he was born in during the 19th century. He was always in poor health, and he spent most of his time, of course, Toulouse spent a lot of time in brothels and places like that. But he did a lot of the advertising for the show business and the different trades around Paris in that area. And he became quite famous. And he was, I've always liked illustration. It's not like fine art. It tells a story, and it has a lot to do with a voice like the human figure. And there's a lot to illustration in the human figure. There was Norman Rockwell. He illustrated for Saturday Evening Post. A lot of the Post covers were done by Norman Rockwell, and those are illustrations. They illustrate something going on in life or something to do with life, and that's what I like about illustrations. And I worked as a technical illustrator. I spent my years in the Air Force as a illustrator for
tech writing art department. And then, of course, later on in life, I worked for a curtain rod company, Kirsch Company, and all those little pieces of paper that fall out of the box to tell you how to put it together. Those are all technical art, technical illustrations. And so that's pretty much been my life, you know. And of course, like I said, Toulouse-Lautrec has always been my favorite artist, my favorite illustrator.
I had a funny feeling you were going to say that, so that's pretty cool.
We were in, where was it? Was it down in, was it Cleveland? We went to his art. Where did we go? And we went to a
We were in Denver. They had a
Denver.
Yeah.
Was it in Denver? We went to that Toulouse-Lautrec.
Yep. So that's for those of you that are watching. That's an example of his work. That's one of his. Dad, you were talking about some of his posters that he's done. That's an example of one of his posters. So
Yeah, he did a lot of posters for the, especially for the theater arts and for the dances, and you know, he was just very famous for that. And if you ever get a chance to go to one of his shows, you know, one of his
yeah, because I think it was the Art Institute in Denver, the Denver Art Museum there. They had a whole exhibit of his, and I can remember. And you came out in like '99, and we all went and saw that, and it was fantastic. That was one of my favorite. There's another Toulouse-Lautrec painting right there. Just awesome.
We were living there at the time. In '99, we were living out there. I remember going to the show. The art school that I attended, Colorado Institute of Art. Of course, it's the Art Institute of Colorado now, but back then we were down on 13th and Broadway, and the Art Institute is right down in that neighborhood. That's, you know, right down near the Mint is down there, and now I think that corner is I think it's a King Super or a Safeway or something. They tore all that down.
Yeah, I think it is now.
Yeah. The old Art West building. It was a 3-story building. We had the upper floor. We had the 3rd floor. But it's all gone now. That part is, and they moved the Art Institute over on Lincoln, and it has more to do with broadcasting, and they still have they had the fine arts and the commercial art, and but they also have the broadcasting, and they also have they have a chef school there. So they've expanded a lot. It was bought out from the old people that owned it, and it's connected now. It's kind of more of a nationwide institute. So they have like I think Pittsburgh or Philadelphia, one of them have a form of that, and so does of course there's the famous Chicago has their art institute, but they're all kind of connected together now. They put that together, and so it's they've got a lot of money behind it now, and it's a good. They have a really good program.
Cool. Well, Dad, you have answered the 5 for Father's Day questions. Well done.
Okay.
Here, put Mom on for a second. Let's say hi to Mom too, since she's there.
Okay. I'm gonna hand her phone over to her. Okay.
Okay.
Cynthia. I gotta find her. Cynthia.
You abandoned you. That's all right.
Yes.
You have the chair.
So we say hi to you too. Since we got done talking to Dad, I thought we'd take a minute to say hi, see what's happening.
Okay. I'm supposed to answer these same questions?
No.
Oh, no, I just wanted to say hi. Your hand is over the
Here
lens.
we go. Mom,
there
your
I
hand's
am.
over the lens. There you go.
Now you can see my double chin.
There you go. See, you have to hold the phone up high, so that way you'll get the
There you go.
Okay.
There you go. See, you guys see a big long.
Your dad lost us. We're at
No, you're still
camera.
there. We can still see you.
Oh, I can't see you though.
Oh, that's okay. We can see you. Well, it's probably because you're using, it's okay. So
Is
this
that
has been
okay?
more fun than anything, just watching you guys try to use the technology. I won't lie.
I think this is repulsive. I can't see anything and you're talking to me. Okay, tell me what do you want me to answer?
Well, all right. Oh, she just hung up. All right. So anyway, I think my mom just hung up on herself there. So anyway, Hey, you guys, I think that's our cue to call it
Who
a
could
day.
have predicted?
All right, that was amazing. All right, so
I know.
anyway,
I know.
as you can see, here we are living in the dream of. Kudos to my mom and dad for actually getting themselves on this stream. They did a great job.
No kidding.
They did an awesome job of following instructions. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and call it a day. Hey, folks, we're going to have sort of a weird schedule this week, so stay tuned on the Facebook as we will be letting you know when we're doing what stuff. So we had a request for a little podcast, and would you like to hear what it is?
I would.
Are you familiar with the term yacht rock?
I am not.
Okay. Well, educate yourself because we're going to have yacht rock experts, Jim and Tammy Peters, on. What we're going to do is we're going to have a poll this week to give us your top 10 yacht rock songs. And
So you're talking like people on boats and what they listen to, the music
Yes.
they listen to on a boat?
yes.
So douche music, we're listening to douche tunes. Is that
We're
what
going to
you're
listen
saying?
to douche tunes, and we're going to pick our top 10 douche tunes. Okay, right on.
All right.
So that's at some
Awesome.
point this
Rocky
week,
like a
we'll let you know when.
hurricane.
But again, you guys look for us live again on Wednesday. So hopefully you guys are having a happy Father's Day. Thank you for joining us. My dad's calling right now, like, what just happened? So I will deal with him. And we will talk to you guys soon. Thanks, you guys. Happy Father's Day to
Thanks,
you.
everybody. See ya. Bye.